Before you dive into marketing strategies and posting on Instagram, it is essential to lay a solid foundation for your sleep consulting business, and you do that through effective branding. Branding is the heart of your sleep consulting business. It defines your values, your mission, and how you want clients to see you. A strong brand gives a clear direction for your marketing and keeps your messaging consistent. Without it, your marketing can become scattered and confusing, both for you and your clients. Thank you so much for watching this video today. My name is Rihanna. I'm a certified postpartum doula, certified pediatric sleep consultant, and founder of Sleep Consultant Design, where I help sleep consultants start, launch, and grow their business. I'm super excited to introduce you today to my 9-part framework specifically designed to solidify your branding before you dive into marketing strategies. Now, this approach is the same one I use with my one-on-one clients to ensure that the branding is strong and effective. So in this video, I want to show you the bigger picture and how each part of this framework fits into the overall branding process. So over the coming weeks, I'll be rolling out a series of videos, each diving deeper into a section of this framework with practical tips and guidance. So let's start from the beginning with number 1. After you got certified, and the first thing you want to do is to focus on your VMC framework. And the VMC framework stands for your vision, your mission, and your core values. So your vision is defining what you want to achieve in the long run. So this is personal and business. Your mission is the purpose of your business and how you plan to achieve your vision. And then your core values, those are establishing the fundamental beliefs and guiding principles of your business. So that's the first thing you want to have in place. And like I said, in the upcoming videos, I'm going to dive deeper into each of those sections. Now, once you have that clear, you want to move on to part 2, and it's the ideal client profile generator. And for this, there's a very easy tool, ChatGPT, you can use. Of course, I always encourage you to brainstorm first yourself, ask around, do some market research. But ChatGPT has a lot of knowledge and information that can help you guide you on the right way. So for your ideal client, you not only want to figure out the demographics, which I see happening a lot on the internet. A lot of people are talking only about the demographics of your ideal client, your avatar. Things like age, location where they live, the gender, the income level, the education level. But I want you also to identify the psychographics. So what are the interests of your ideal client? What are their values? What is their lifestyle? What is their parenting approach? And based on those two things, you want to create a buyer persona. So a detailed profile of your ideal client. And you can hang this on your fridge or wherever you want, but this is your guidance to who you're creating all your offers, your products for when you're moving into marketing. So this is your ideal client, the client, your dream client that you would like to work with. That's where you create it right here. Then we're going to move on to step 3. And your step 3 is your unfair advantage identification. So what you want to do here is figure out what your services makes unique and why clients should choose you as a sleep consultant instead of your competitors. But you also want to find a way to clearly communicate the benefits and the values that you provide to your clients. So there are these things that we all do as sleep consultants, and there are certain things that only you do because you choose to, or because you have the experience or the knowledge, or that thing that makes you unique. So that's everything you've learned in your life, the experiences you went through, and things that you do that makes you different. So this is a very important step before you move on to the next steps. Before you even post on Instagram, you should have figured this out. Because if you're posting like any other sleep consultant on Instagram, you're just going to disappear in the masses. And I don't want you to disappear in the masses. I want you to stand out. And you do that by figuring out this thing that makes you unique. Okay, we move on to step 4, and this is your MRD formula. And this has all to do about like your brand name and your tagline. So a lot of times we come up with our business name long before we have created our business, or we think, oh, that's the first thing. I'm certified now, I want to have my business name. But if you don't know what you're standing for, if you don't know who your ideal client is, this is not only very hard, but sometimes you're missing the point. with your brand name, if it doesn't resonate with your ideal client or it's too general, the more specific you are, like, okay, I'm going to explain. So the MRD formula stands for memorable, relevant, and distinctive. So what you want to have with your brand name and your tagline, that first of all, it's memorable. A good brand should be easy to remember. A good brand name and a good tagline. It should really stick into the mind of your audience, making it easier for them to recall and recognize your brand when they need you. But it should also be relevant. The name and the tagline should be relevant to the specific business, to the specific audience you serve. Sometimes we're like, I'm certified in sleep, but I want to make this business for like all children opportunities, and I want to have daycare and after school care. I want to build this whole big business. Okay, awesome. Just start with what you have now, create a brand name, create a brand based on this one thing that you're offering, and you can expand this later as your business grows. But make it very clear, because if a person sees the brand children services are, oh, that sounds really bad, by the way, are sleep consulting services, and they have problems with sleep, they're going to go for this company that clearly is focused on sleep. So you want to do that as well. So it needs to be relevant. It also should be distinctive. Your brand name and tagline should stand out from your competitors. So try to make it as unique as possible, but keep in mind, you want them to be able to remember it. So no confusing words or letter combinations. And but all of this, the MRD formula, to create a strong brand name and a memorable impression. This is the start of it. Then we're going to move on to step 5. And step 5 is the echo effect. And that has also to do with your brand voice and your brand tone. So an echo implies that something you put out, it comes back, right? So what you want to do with your brand voice and your brand tone, that this is what it does as well. It's communicating. It's communicating your brand, the consistency of it, the messaging. And when it comes back with your ideal clients, it means you're echoing, you're communicating in the right way. Because if you're communicating a certain message and this is attracting a certain group of people, this means that you've figured out your brand tone and your brand voice. If you're attracting not your ideal client, there's a lot of work to do there on, and that's going to be more in marketing, the messaging. But figure out, like, how do you want to come across? And think back, go back to step 2. Who's your ideal client? What type of communication, what type of brand tone, voice matches with them? It's very interesting to see, if you start looking on Instagram, all the different voices that sleep consultants have. Some are very serious, others making like a little bit rebellious. So find your tone of voice, but that's matching with your ideal client. Okay, step 6 is your 3x3 identity grid. And your brand identity shows up in the way you're using colors, fonts, and elements. So when you're designing your logo, when you're designing your Instagram post, when you want this to be based on a foundation that you've created from the beginning. So not randomly, you buy a pack from Etsy and you're like, oh, that looks good, and you're using it literally, or you find some nice templates on Canva and you're like, oh, I can use this. No, you want to start from your own foundation, and you do that by the 3x3 identity grid. So figure out 3 colors that go very well together, 3 fonts that go really well together. Like, you want to have a headline, you want to have a subheading. Most of the time the subheading is a bit more curly, and then you want to have a body text font, and you want to have like 3 elements, 3 types of things. And a lot of times these things come back to your logo. So if you have a logo with a moon and stars, that would already be 2 elements. And then you can do a certain arrow or a certain line, but something that keeps coming back in all the materials that you're putting out there. In your Instagram post, your ebooks, your flyers, your website, everywhere it comes back. So this is your brand identity foundation. Then we're going to move on to step 7, and this is your triple S storytelling method. And what you want to do here is, whenever you share about your business, try to use storytelling. It's such a powerful technique, and it really makes it authentic and unique, because you have your own story, just like all the other sleep consultants have their own story. But this is something that we don't have similar. And so the triple S storytelling method is based on First, set the scene. So, what was your situation? Then, explain about the struggle that you were going through, and then the solution. So, the scene, the struggle, and then the solution. And this way, you can really create like a compelling narrative that can connect with your audience on an emotional level. So, specifically, a lot of times what I see is that your ideal client often is a reflection of your own situation. So, if you ended up with postpartum depression, or you were very anxious during the first year of the growth of your baby, or all these kind of things, a lot of times when you overcome that, you want to teach others and help others and guide others. So if your ideal client is somebody who's anxious in the first couple of weeks after birth, and this is your ideal client, you want to focus on that part of your story that you were in the similar situation, and you explain, this is how I was, this was my struggle, and they're going to recognize themselves in it. And then you share the solution that helped you get out of it. And showing this, them recognizing those first two steps in their own situation right now, and then hearing you talk about the solution, is going to give them a lot of hope and possibilities to see that there are opportunities to get out of it where they are right now, and that you might be the right person for that. So this is part of your brand. What is your story that's connecting with your ideal client, that's really unique to you? Then when you figure that all out, you want to create a 3D style guide. And the 3D style guide means like you create a document that can be in Google Docs, for example. And the first part, the first D, is the draft. So you write down your branding guidelines. So that's not only the colors, the fonts, and the elements you're using, but also your mission, your vision, your core values, what makes you unique, who's your ideal client. You collect all this information that we were just talking about into this one document. And I said it's a draft, so it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the first D. The second D is that this document is a working document. And every time you make a change or you tweak something, you adapt that in this document. And then the third D is direct. So in the future, people might be joining your business, and you want them to join based on your mission, your vision, everything you're putting out there. And you want them to communicate in the same way, especially if they're going to be part of your business. So this document that started as a draft, that became a document, and then becomes a directiveness for people that are going to join your company. And so it's full of instructions on how to apply all these different elements to consistently across all platforms show up as your brand. So that's the 3D style guide in 3 steps. Draft, then document everything you're doing, and then use it to direct. And then the last step, that is the core protection. Always, always, always keep these guidelines in the back of your mind with whatever you're doing online. I'm going to share you. There's the 4 letters, the core. Keep them in the back of your mind, whatever you're doing online. So this is to put everything that you've learned into practice. And the C stands for consistency. Make sure that all your online content, all your communications, all are aligning with the guidelines that you wrote in your style guide. Making sure this consistency is there is really going to be helpful to build trust and for your audience to recognize your brand. Imagine on Instagram, you're just popping up as one post. People are often not looking at your whole grid. So you want to be recognizable for them. Like, hey, oh, that's this person again that I've been following about sleep. And then they want to learn more about you. So the C is consistency. The O is optimization. Don't do more. I see a lot of you, and this, and this, and that. No, don't do more, but better. So go deep, not wide. Don't create more offers and more things. Keep it as simple as possible, but go deep. Making sure optimization is that whatever you have, that it's getting better and better and better and better. So the quality is getting more and more stronger. The foundation is going to be stronger, and you're going to build something that people start talking about. And that is the highest level of referrals you can come. That you don't ask anybody to refer you, that people want to talk about your product or your service. So keep focusing on this one thing and optimize, optimize, optimize. Make it better and better. So that's the O. The R is reputation. Always, always, always respond to feedback. So if that's good feedback or bad feedback, it doesn't matter. Always respond to it. Very important. Your reputation is the most important thing that you have to protect. So whenever there's a misunderstanding or a miscommunication, make sure you figure out what is going on. I had one of my clients who started on the platform that I'm highly recommending, system.io, and she started on the platform and she sent me an email, and I could feel she was very upset. She said, "It's not as easy as you make it seem like." And I sent her back, "Listen, what's going on? I feel you're struggling right now. A platform always has a learning curve, but that's not helpful right now for you. So let's hop on a call and we'll figure this out together. Don't worry." You know, be mindful that bad review, a bad recommendation spreads 8 times faster than a good reputation or a good review or a good experience. So be mindful of that. Make sure that you deliver to the highest of your potential, that you create an amazing customer experience, and that you stand behind what you're doing. Like, when she sent me that email, I was not feeling attacked because I know this recommendation that I'm doing for this platform is the best you can get for the price, the all-in-one platform. Like, this is what you what you really want to be using for your sleep consulting business. And so I didn't feel attacked because I know I deliver with high integrity and high expectations. So the only thing that I can do is help her at that moment with the thing that she's struggling with. And it's the same when we're working with sleep consulting clients, is when they feel not heard or seen, it's our job to make them feel seen and heard. They are the ones struggling, remember? And we're here to guide them. So reputation, protect it with all things you can. So this is also why I barely recommend other people's products, because I've had one time a coach that I've been following for a long time on her newsletter, and she recommended uh, a book, an ebook from somebody in her email, and I've never seen her recommending anything. So I was like, okay, this must be amazing. I clicked on it, downloaded the free guide, and it was full with like SEO based headlines. And I went to it, and there were 1,000 headlines, but more than 500 of them had very bad words in it. And I mean cursing words, sexual words. And I felt very uncomfortable watching that. And I sent her an email back and I said, "Were you aware that in his guidebook, they're like, did you check what you were recommending?" And that was just another huge reminder to me. I'm only recommending products that I'm really 100% stand behind, that I had the possibility to go through, that I've joined myself, that I know the person after somebody would purchase their class, their course, that they really get the support they need, that it's not like, yes, ka-ching, sale made and bam, good luck. No, I want people to care about their clients just as much as I do. These are my values, and I want that to reflect. So if I would recommend something, that would come with the same intentions, the same, because it's my reputation. You're going to connect me with that person. So I want to make sure that you don't lose trust in me because you don't trust the program that I'm recommending. So reputation, very important. And the last one is the E, and is expertise. So continuously invest in learning, in developing yourself. And this can be paid by coaches, but on YouTube, you can find so much. You can go through my channel, on my Instagram account. There is so much to learn and improve. And I have one sleep consultant, I love that. Every time I'm posting, she's like, "Oh, I immediately changed this. Oh, I changed the name for this. Oh, I added this to my website. Oh, thank you for this." I love that. Be an action taker. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep getting better. That's what you want, so to enhance your skills, enhance your knowledge, everything, so you can really position yourself as a credible expert in your field. Because, and that's the most important thing to remember, with our small businesses, you are the brand. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this overview has helped you see the bigger picture of branding and really understand how each part of this framework contributes to your overall branding strategy. Now remember, in the coming weeks, I'll be sharing detailed videos on each section of the framework, packed with practical tips and guidance to help you apply these concepts effectively. If you're considering a rebrand or you would like more in-depth information about any of these sections, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram. I'd be happy to discuss your needs and see if and how I can help you take your sleep consulting business to the next level. Stay tuned for more videos, and I look forward to supporting you on your journey.